yoga class for people who just want to get right to it. So today's class, we will start with cat and cow. So take your time setting yourself up in a tabletop position, hands and knees. If you want to, maybe grabbing something cushiony for underneath your knees. And then bringing your hands flat to the floor if possible. With your inhale, start to lower the belly, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone, cow pose. And with an exhale, slowly rounding your way up, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, all the way to cat pose. So go ahead and experiment with cat and cow, syncing your breath to the movement at some point. Notice how or if this might feel different than starting in our usual laying down or seated. See how your body responds. Maybe you add in more extra kind of movement or wiggles along the way just to kind of see, giving the body a scan through movement instead of stillness. At some point, pausing in cat pose with your head kind of down, letting go of tension there. You might circle your neck a little bit or reach your right ear toward the right shoulder and the left ear toward the left shoulder a few times. I think it feels nice to do kind of a figure 8 with my neck. And then 1 or 2 more cat and cow cycles. All right, let's start to lower down to crocodile pose, coming down to your stomach, stacking your hands or fists beneath your forehead, and then resting your head down. Take a few moments to let your heels splay out to the sides. Try not to hold yourself up here in any way. Let yourself kind of melt into the floor for a few rounds of diaphragmatic breath, since the belly won't really expand altogether too much here in a face down position. It's kind of more important to locate the muscles doing the breathing. So you could feel your belly kind of pressing into the mat, into the floor. Maybe you can feel the lungs kind of expanding into the rib cage or the back side of the rib cage. Just take your time, a couple rounds, breathing low and slow, and exhaling in the same way. Three more breaths. When you're ready, placing your hands on either side next to your chest, planting your hands down into the floor. Tuck your chin so that the back of your neck starts to feel long. Maybe your forehead even touches the floor here as we prepare. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat so much that your knees get a little bit lighter or even come up off of the floor. With an inhale, lifting up to your baby cobra, hugging your shoulder blades together behind you, lifting your head and heart. And with an exhale, lower back down. Let's just do this a couple of times. Inhaling your way up to baby cobra, starting to warm up and activate the back side of the body. And exhale, lower. One or two more. All right, go ahead and lower down, left cheek to the floor or props. Let your arms go long down by your sides or out wide or whatever feels restful to you. Relax your body and take a couple of deep breaths. And then getting in place again. This time we will move into more of a low body focused lifting, half locust pose. So we're going to keep the head just aligned on the spine, no lifting through the upper body here. With your inhale, just the legs lifting behind you just a couple inches. And then exhale, lower your legs down with as much control as you can. Inhale, lifting your straight legs up behind you. Exhale, lower down. You can continue like that a couple more rounds, noticing what's happening uniquely in your own body. When you feel you've had enough of these leg lifts, half locust, go ahead and lower your way down, this time with the right cheek resting on the floor or props. Let your arms go down by your sides or way out wide, relaxing here for a few breaths. One last breath. Coming back to center, planting hands on either side of your chest. Press the tops of your feet into your mat. You can try pressing your way up to upward facing dog, or you would do that by keeping your legs straight and your legs up off of the floor, your thighs up off of the floor. If that's a little too much today, we can just press up to tabletop. Either way, upward facing dog or tabletop. Our next move is extended child's pose, so placing your knees out wide, big toes touching behind you, and reaching your seat toward your heels. Lowering your head and heart, maybe resting on your forearms, or walking your hands up toward the top of your mat before lowering your way down. Three more breaths. Wait for the inhale that feels right to you, and with that inhale, come back up to tabletop. We'll get our blocks if you're going to use those today, and then make our way to downward facing dog, curling the toes under and reaching the tailbone high, establishing your breath here first, and then maybe adding some movement, bending and straightening opposite knees. Maybe lifting up to the tippy toes and lowering your heels back down. Maybe getting kind of a twisting feel through the shoulders or the hips. One more breath here in And breath out. Bend your knees a lot as you look up toward the top of your mat, and then step just the right foot forward. Lower your left knee down to the floor behind you. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Take a minute to notice what's going on with the pelvis here. Sometimes we kind of reach and curve the back. Let's find a nice neutral position so we're not tilting the pelvis in either cat or cow direction. We're just kind of right in the middle. And the arms then reaching high. Take a big breath in. Exhale, goalpost arms, bending the elbows, this time finding a little bit of a back bend, puffing the chest up. Inhale, reaching high, unwinding a little bit. Exhale, goalpost arms, stretching through the chest. One more like that. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, goalpost arms. Lower your hands back down to your blocks if you're using them. Curl your left toes under. Pick up your left knee and then step your left foot to the top. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, sliding the hands up to the thighs. Exhale, fold forward again. Let's do this a few times in a row. Follow your natural flow of breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending your knees as you fold. 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Just about 1 more time like that. This time let's start to rise all the way up, coming to join palms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Take a moment, maybe even closing your eyes. Let's take 3 clearing breaths, inhaling through your nose and sighing through the mouth. Let's do that again, a couple more. Inhale, reaching arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step just the right foot back and lower your right knee down to the mat. Take as much time as you need, eventually using an inhale to rise up. Take a couple of moments here to see what the pelvis is doing, see if we can kind of point the hip points straight forward. Big breath in. Exhale, goalpost the arms, puffing the chest up. Feeling a nice opening through the collarbones. Inhale, reaching high. Exhale, goalpost arms. 1 more like that. Inhale, reach. And exhale, goalpost arms. Start to bring your hands back down to your blocks. You could bring the left hand and left hand block to the inside of your left foot and then toe heel your left foot way out wide here first. And then curl your right toes under, pick up your right knee and step your left foot back to high plank, shoulders over wrists. Take 1 nice big breath in and out. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, rise up to your tippy toes. And exhale, lower your heels toward the floor, stretching out the calves. Inhale to the tippy toes. Exhale, lower the heels. 1 more time like that. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, lower your heels. Inhale, bend your knees, look to the top of your mat. Exhale, step to the top. Forward fold up there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, start to rise all the way up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Take a few moments, maybe closing your eyes, just check in. Check throughout your body for a sense of balance between effort and ease. Holding yourself securely in a strong way, but also making sure there's a softness, a finesse, right use of effort, you could call it. Let's take a clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh to release. I still have my blanket on my mat. I'm going to move that to the side for now. You might want to clear if there's anything behind you. Let's start to shift to balance on the left foot and start to lift your right knee, one-legged mountain pose. You could always keep your right toes down on a block or the floor just to get your bearings. Our next move will entail stepping the right foot way back and lowering it to the mat. It's your choice how long you take to get there. You could linger in airplane pose, pushing and reaching that right foot back behind you. You could simply step your foot back and try to land as lightly as you can. Just doing a little practice there with balance on the right foot. So take your time, something like one-legged mountain pose with the right knee lifting, airplane pose to step back. Inhale, reach your hands up and overhead. Exhale, warrior two, spinning that back heel down to the floor and then bending into your left knee. Reaching in both directions through the arms and gazing beyond your left fingertips. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, straighten both legs, reach both arms high. Exhale, reverse triangle. So the legs stay the same. The right hand lowers, the left arm lifts. Feel your left side expanding. We're kind of doing a side bend-like movement here where we think more about expanding through the left side than we are crunching the right side. Hope that makes sense. Inhale, come back up. And exhale, lower your arms down. Spin your left toes to face the long edge of your mat. And then spin your right toes to face the back edge of your mat. Warrior two. Warrior two to the back of your mat. Reaching again in both directions, trying to align your shoulders more or less above your hips, not too far in either direction. And gazing intensely beyond your right fingers, just like a warrior might in some circumstance. Inhale, feel your strength. Exhale. Two more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Last breath in and out. Inhale, straighten both legs, reaching high. Exhale, reverse triangle, left hand lowering, right arm reaching. Feel that length and space being created through the right side. One or two more breaths here. And then go ahead and lower your hands down. Spin your toes again to that long edge of your mat. Bending a little bit through your knees, let's start to forward fold. You could keep your hands on your legs for support, or maybe grab your blocks. I like to have my toes a little bit more in and my heels a little bit more out in a forward fold, wide-legged forward fold, but it's up to you. Just make sure not to lock into any of your joints. And this can be kind of a living pose here. You could breathe and kind of accentuate anything your body's already doing. Maybe halfway lifting with your inhales and exhaling as you forward fold. See if you can bring some kind of little pulse to animate your pose with. We're going to turn this into a twist here. If you do have blocks, we'll grab those. I'm going to stack my 2 blocks at the center of my mat. Just feels sturdy that way to me. We're going to place the left hand on top of that stack and then start to open your right arm up. So we're ending up in an upward twist toward the right. You might pick up all of your toes and spread them out and then set them back down. You could experiment with the angle that your feet are at. Maybe now it feels better to have the toes wider out and the heels a little more in. See if you can become buoyant in your shoulder joints, reaching through the upper hand toward the sky, pressing down through the bottom hand so you feel a sense of support in both directions. And then let's switch, bringing the right hand down to the center, your stack of blocks, and lifting that left arm high. Upward twist to the left. One or two more breaths here. And then lower your top hand down. If you have your blocks, grabbing those, walk your blocks and yourself all the way up to the top of your mat, stepping to the top when you arrive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending your knees deeper than usual. Inhale, rise all the way up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, lowering to Samastitihi, hands at heart center. Always a place for just checking in and reassessing that amount of effort and ease. Inhale. Exhale with a sigh, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step one foot back first and then the other, high plank. Big breath in. Exhale, lower your knees and then lower your chest. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Inhale, rise up, baby cobra. Exhale, lower down. Your choice here, inhale, maybe pressing up to upward facing dog or to your baby cobra. And exhale, child's pose, pressing to tabletop and then back to your child's pose. 3 breaths here, inhale and exhale. One more breath in and breath out. Inhale, rise up, tabletop. Curl your toes under. Exhale and walk your hands to the back of your mat so you end up in a frog squat at the back. Your heels can be lifted up off of the floor here. Little foot stretch, maybe rocking side to side. When you're ready, use an exhale to forward fold, straightening the legs. So your choice, inhaling to halfway lift and exhaling to fold, or inhaling to frog pose and exhaling to forward fold. You can mix the two up every time. Exhaling as you lower, inhaling frog or halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's do that a couple more times. Make it your own here. We're eventually going to end up in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending your knees deeper than normal. Inhale all the way up, joining hands overhead. Exhale, hands back to heart center. Taking a moment here again. See how things are. And a clearing breath in through the nose. And a sigh, let it go. All right, let's take a few steps up to the top of the mat here. This time we'll shift onto the right leg and start to find one-legged mountain pose with the left knee lifting. Take your time. This will be our balancing here on this side. So when you're ready, you might move slowly into your airplane pose. Eventually stepping that left foot back and setting it down as gently as you can. I'm just going to do that a couple of times. So kind of reversing that here. We're leaning forward, reaching the hands back, and see if you can kind of launch off of that left foot, back up through your airplane. You could bring your left knee up with you to one-legged mountain pose, and then step it back down. Let's switch sides in between. So we'll shift to the left, standing on the left leg and lifting the right knee some amount. You could sync it with your own breath here. I won't cue the breath, so just support yourself with your breath here. Eventually starting to kick the right foot back, airplane pose. Just as gently as you can, stepping your right toes back to the floor. Do whatever you need to here before reversing back up, leaning forward, coming to that high arrow kind of pose before launching up, airplane, one-legged mountain, and stepping back down. Whew, all right, let's do it one more time on each side. So back to that right foot, left knee lifts. Take your sweet time, airplane pose. Stepping your left toes down. And then reversing to come back up. Oh, nice calf stretch here. And last time we'll end after your last round where you're standing on your left foot and lifting the right knee. Really nice to have a wall close by you can lean on for support. Really nice calf stretch in arrow pose today. All right. When you feel you've had enough, let's get a little shakeout going here. If you feel like there's any extra energy or tightness or anything that needs to move, maybe tapping those areas of the body, maybe jumping a couple times. All right. We'll head right down to the floor when you're done with your shakeout. Making your way. Laying on down. Let's hug the knees in toward the chest. When you get there, take a few moments to massage out your low back, circling your knees. We're shifting side to side. All right, bringing both feet down to the floor and your hands down by either side. Let's go through breathing bridge pose 3 times. So let's tuck the shoulder blades in behind your back. Pick up your toes, pick up your fingers, spread them out, and then set them all back down. Inhale, lifting up to bridge. Exhale, lower back down. 2 more. Inhale, bridge pose. Exhale, lower. One last time. Inhale, bridge. Feel free to stay here for an extra breath if you want to, or 2 or 3. Eventually lowering down, briefly hugging your knees in toward your chest. This time lifting your forehead toward your knees. And just releasing your head back down and doing that a couple times. We're going into this kind of round shape and then flat. One more time, rounded and then flat. Great. Pressing your left foot down into the mat. Let's start to lift and straighten or almost straighten the right leg. Feel free to hold on to your right leg if that helps, or just press down a little bit harder through your hands and your left foot. Circle out your right ankle. Wiggle all the toes on your right foot. Take a look at your toes and just see, can you move? How much can you move and articulate each of your toes? Try not to be too judgmental. Just see what you're working with. And then go ahead and bend your right knee, crossing your right ankle and resting it on top of your left thigh. Figure 4. Take a few moments here, maybe pressing your right hand into the right knee or thigh for some different sensation. You could add a little bit of a rocking into this pose, seeing how that feels. Or just hold steady. If it feels nice to you, maybe reaching to interlace your fingers behind your left thigh, so long as your head and your back can remain connected to the floor. If you're holding on to that left thigh, you might consider bending and straightening your left knee a couple of times. Just check in with your neck, make sure you're not straining. Eventually lowering your left foot back to the floor if it was lifted. Let's move this into a twist. So keeping figure 4 legs, we can scoot the pelvis a little bit closer to the right edge of the mat. And then start to lower and twist your knees toward the left. When you're ready, start to make your way back up. Lifting your right leg high one more time. And then setting the right foot down. Let's switch. But first, just rest with both feet on the mat. And then pressing your right foot into the mat, pressing your hands and your arms down into the sides as well. Start to lift and straighten or almost straighten your left leg. Circling out your left ankle a little bit. Wiggling your toes. Maybe looking at your toes and again seeing how much control you have throughout your toes. Are you able to kind of bend and straighten each one? Takes a lot of practice to move them kind of individually of each other, but maybe you check for that as well. And then bending your placing your left ankle on the top of your right thigh, figure 4. Maybe staying right here or pressing your left hand into your left thigh. Adding a bit of a rock or a sway could be nice. If you prefer, maybe reaching to interlace your fingers, this time behind the right thigh. If your right leg is lifted, maybe bending and straightening your right knee a couple of times and just seeing how that plays in. Sometimes you can kind of feel how things are connected in your body by moving them in, these different poses. I definitely feel like a wide range of things happening through my left hip. And eventually setting your right foot back down. Scoot the pelvis over toward your left side of your mat, figure 4 legs, and then allow your knees to start twisting and lowering to the right. Always have the option of uncrossing the legs and just stacking one on top of the other. And when you're ready, starting to make your way back up. Straightening out that left leg once more, and then bringing it down to the ground. Let's head into a long body stretch, straightening arms and legs in opposite directions, reaching your fingers and toes as far away from each other as you can. Maybe adding in a little bit of a wrist circling here. You can see how it feels with your hands in fists, also with your fingertips spread wide out. If there are any last poses, movements, or stretches that you're called to experience here, go ahead, move through those now. Eventually, we'll head into Shavasana, our final rest today. Finding a comfortable position, Shavasana, traditionally arms and legs are outstretched, creating kind of a somewhat symmetrical view of the body or pose of the body. Constructive rest pose is always nice, especially if your low back feels kind of tight. Bending your knees up, standing your feet by the edges of your mat, tucking the tailbone under so your low back is flatter to the mat, and then allowing your knees to rest together at the center. Choose your own adventure here, getting comfy. Relaxing all the muscles around your eyes, your eyebrows, your forehead. Relaxing your jaw. And you may have already kind of noticed today how sticky, per se, your mind might be. Is it easy to get stuck on different thoughts that come in? Are you able to kind of remain in a pleasant but mellow meditative state? Is there anything urgent on your mind? Returning to Shavasana can be a very eye-opening practice just to see, returning to the same place, to see how you're different. Just like that Nelson Mandela quote. Slowly starting to deepen your breath. Consider wiggling fingers and toes if you're ready to move, or just continue your rest as long as you can. Eventually, bringing in a little bit more movement, maybe yawning or swallowing. Eventually making your way to the fetal position on either side, maybe using your bottom arm as a pillow. Take a full round of breath here or two, practicing not being in a hurry. And eventually using the help of your arms, your hands to press your way up to a comfortable seat. Joining hands at heart center, lengthening upward through the crown of your head. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions somehow contribute to that happiness and freedom for all. Bringing thumbs to third eye center now. Let's seal in our class with a little bow forward in gratitude. Thank you.